Hi guys, welcome to Tech Talk episode 3. I'm Michael.
I'm Lee.
And we are joined today by Dan, who's a guest of ours, to talk about editing on Macs and PCs. So,
as well as on Mac, yeah.
There's a bit of controversy in the episode 3 for us.
Oh dear. As much as they would love just to throw this on the floor.
Right, start things off. Lee, we'll let Lee talk as this little beauty arrived.
Yes, okay, at last. Since episode 1 I've been talking about this camera, and finally I picked it up on Thursday. It's the GoPro 4 Black Edition. Haven't had a chance to do a proper review and field test of this yet, but I'll do that in the week and upload it separately. But yeah, we'll do an unboxing video of that as well. It's finally arrived, folks, the GoPro Hero 4. What I can see from the start is that the waterproof housing, the top of that, is different now, whereas before you had to slide it across and then down. We'll cut to a close-up of the two different dive housings on it. This one's just got a general plastic clip release, so you just pull it back, pops it off. They've also changed the design of the battery as well, which is annoying. We'll cut to a close-up of it as well. It's on the bottom of the camera now, the battery release, and you just flick it back and the battery drops out. Whereas on the other GoPro, it was in the side. No, it's on the back.
Yeah,
on the back.
Yeah.
And I can see why they do it, because on GoPro 3, you had to flick it across, and it was a small catch, and you had to get your finger on it. If you had no nails, then you couldn't get the battery cover off. So I can see why they've done it, but it does mean that third parties like Wasabi, who do the batteries, you get much better value than on GoPro.com. Those guys now are going to have to do another battery and another charger for it, so it's a bit of a pain. But there we are.
It's I suppose it's with everything on new cameras. We had trouble with the D750 recently with the fact that the raw file, there was no Photoshop or Adobe Bridge can read it. So we're stuck with photographs on the camera that we can't see until they did an update. But luckily you managed to find a beta update, which has worked quite well.
Yeah.
But there you go. It's the same with all cameras. I think they're changing things right, left, and centre, really, aren't they?
Yeah. So look out for the review. I'll say we'll do it for the next episode of Tech Talk.
Yeah.
And look out for the unboxing video, which will be up shortly.
Right guys, there's already an unboxing video of this. This is the Tamaron SPAF 9mm, which I talked about last week. This is a macro lens. Now I've actually done some comparison stuff with this with the macro 1:1, which is what this is, and the macro 1:2, which is about £200 cheaper. This has probably one of the finest focusing systems I've ever seen. The only actual drawback I will say with it is when you actually get your focus point on, because there's such a slight tiny millimeter difference if you're going forward or backwards with your head movement. It suddenly goes, I mean, I don't just mean out of focus, I mean it's just a blur, so it's that fine focus. I will do a complete rundown through this and put some sample images up on a raw vlog just to show you what it's like, but
so
hell of a lens.
So much more of a sort of stationary tripod sort of.
Definitely. If you want to use it, a lot of macro stuff is tripod mounted anyway, unless you're out and about. You actually did some very cool, I would call it macro stuff with the Dragonfly.
Oh yeah.
Just using a normal lens. But that's the type of thing. It's just such a fine margin of error. Images are on it are amazing, but for what it is, the Tamaron lens, this was £239. The actual Nikon version of it I think is 600 and something, so there's no difference. That's the same as the Tamaron 18 to 200mm and the Nikon 18 to 200mm, which I can actually do a comparison for you because we've got both lenses. No difference whatsoever, except price wise. One's £700, one was £139. So we'll give you a little bit of an insight as well into that, I think, in the next show. I think we'll do that one.
Okay.
We'll do a little comparison of them two lenses. But yeah, if you're looking for a macro lens, definitely head out, check that one out.
Should you really be slamming the box down on the table?
I shouldn't really, no, sorry. They're robust, you know, these things.
Yeah.
And they're okay.
I mean,
right, guys.
Royal Mail, so should be robust.
And now to our special guest, Dan. We brought Dan down today. He is a Apple man. I'll call him an Apple man. He's actually got Apple training as well, so you can't say that against the boy.
The certification say I'm an Apple product professional, but it just means I know stuff about Apple products.
So we're kind of sort of going to jump in today with the new Apple I think it's the 5K, is it?
Yeah, they've they've announced it around a month ago and just released a Retina, as they call it, 5K Imac, which is like mind-blowing to think that hardly no one has 4K displays at the moment, yet Apple have just come and ruined the market and just gone, here's 5K, by the way. Yeah.
I think I can name two PC. I actually think I can name two laptops that's just gone 2K.
Yeah.
Not even 4K, and we are a 5K. But, one of the reasons we first sitting down is myself being a photographer, Lee being a effects and filmmaker. We kind of sort of always stuck to PC. I've always been a PC loyal boy, and you've always been PC and everything. For video editing, I think PC is probably the best one you could probably get. I'm saying I'm saying the best.
Probably.
There's a lot of professionals out there that use PC. Video Copilot. I can't think of his name. Andrew Kramer from Video Copilot currently uses I think it's this HP Z
something like that,
800
top end.
It's like 23 grams worth of power, but for what it actually does for editing and actually rendering is phenomenal. Now, I was always under the case of I'm not an Apple boy, never been an Apple fan, I don't have an Apple iPhone and things like that. But since doing photography and since doing university, one of the biggest things I have discovered is the fact that my laptop, which is pretty souped up as it is, it's got a 2 gig graphics card and 8 gigs of RAM in it, still not as fast or as efficient, or in my line of work it has to be spot on what the colours look like on the screen to what's coming out of the printers I send it to. So I kind of I must jump to go from PC to Apple.
Yeah.
But
why is that then?
I don't, and actually no, this is why we got our special guest here.
So for example, Apple uses very high quality displays, a technology called IPS, which blows everything out of the water for colour quality, anything to do with any, so you can put it in any angle and you still get very good colour reproduction and things like that on there. So obviously they're incredibly high quality displays, and for photographers, especially with the iMacs, they are incredibly good for photography, because obviously you can see which colours you want, and what you print is what you have on the screen, 9 times out of 10.
It does. One of the things I actually noticed was the prints, which I think you can actually put up. That I did a couple of uni prints, and on my portfolio I actually put them up, and they look nice and clear and bright. I think I sent them to Kurt and you just to show you what they've done, and then whenever they're printed they're very dark. Details not as crisp as they should be as they are on screen. Now, one of the other things I've sort of noticed is actually going from my laptop, which has got an LCD display, and my new monitor, which has got an LED display, and you're going across back and forth. You can put one picture one side and the exact same picture the other side, and they are two different.
That's what I'm wondering, really. Would it just be better to put it on an external monitor?
That's the thing. To actually go down that route, I've sort of done a little bit of sort of research into it, and actually go down that route to get a monitor that's going to give you that clear an image. You are going to be looking at least £800 up, if not over £1,000, just to get that clear image. There are calibration software out there that you can pay £150 for. I think the cheapest one is, which basically is a machine you plug in a USB, stick it on your monitor, and it calibrates your colours, your monitors and things like that to try and get. But honestly, I am not an Apple fanboy. In fact, if you ask him, I hate the damn things.
You heard it here first, though.
I have, and I consider, I will see myself switching to get myself an Imac or something.
Because even though £2,000, yes, is incredibly expensive for a computer, but when you think you get a 5K display with IPS, Dell are just announcing a 5K monitor, which is more expensive than this iMac. Just the monitor.
So you basically get a computer.
So you get pretty much a computer for free. Yes, it's a Mac. However, to his delight, there is Boot Camp on Macs, so you can install Windows.
Yeah.
So if he still wants to edit on there, If I'm 100% honest with you, I wouldn't use the 5K iMacs right now for editing. I think the graphics processors in them are a tad bit weak.
Yeah.
Especially for 4K editing, in which Apple are trying to push this for. I think if you're using, just simple 4K editing on this iMac, it'd be absolutely fine. The main thing is that they're saying that you can get the 4K image, pixel for pixel, and all of your doobies for, what you call them. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
I just couldn't think of the word. And video edit that way. I mean, for 5K photo editing. I mean, most photos are sort of 5K anyway.
The new D750. Funny enough, we actually had this conversation last week with the actual size of the file of the D750. They are just under 4K, so they are a massive file, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge file. So we can give you the exact numbers at the bottom of the screen, we will. But it's a massive file. And one thing I am noticing as well is actually using the Macs in university and using my PC at home, how quicker the Mac is, even with the new camera.
Yeah.
To edit it is like that,
So photographers are hailing this for pixel editing, and also something that you love, because Sarah won't be able to put the SD card in the CD
no, they've got rid of the CD slot.
The SD card's at the back, so Sarah can't put the SD card in.
Yeah, if anyone sort of remembers the Macs from
2008, 2009,
you probably remember them being a teacher yourself and having Macs and things like that.
Yeah,
so
Newport.
They had a CD slot on the right hand side, and right underneath it, about half an inch was the SD card slot. And since I've been in uni and college, I can name about 9 people that have just put their hands to the side and put the SD card in and actually pushed it right through to the actual CD slot. So there's one in Cross Keys which I lost. That was Sarah's fault, she put it in. So pushed it all the way in. So they got rid of the CD thing on the CD slot on the drive, which is quite good. I'm quite pleased with that.
So what specs have we got then on this new iMac?
So let me just scroll down a wee bit. So you can get a 2.5 GHz quad-core i5, which turbo boosts up to 3.9 GHz. So that's sort of like the lowest end Retina iMac you can buy, or it can go all the way up to a 4 GHz quad-core Intel Core i7, which is rather quick.
Yeah.
So then memory, of course, they come standard with 8 gigs. They can go all the way up to 32 gigs. To be honest, these are user upgradable, so don't buy the RAM from Apple as a rip-off. Buy your own, chuck it in yourself. It's easy enough, just click one button. Hard drive space for your heart's content, get SSDs or a 1TB Fusion drive, something like that. Graphics is R9 M290X with 2GB of RAM, or GDDR5. And that can go all the way up to an AMD Radeon R9 295X with 4GB of GDDR5.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 4 gig for video editing.
Yes, most certainly you want to bump up.
Especially if you're actually going to go that way as well, from a PC then to Apple doing video editing, especially with that being 4K.
Yeah.
That thing would literally no trouble at all. I mean, I've actually put 2K video on my laptop and it didn't like it.
I mean, one really good thing about Apple these days is how fast they adopt new standards. For example, Thunderbolt, which will be absolutely essential for people who are doing video editing, because it's PCI Express on a cable. That's what people don't understand. So you plug it in and you can have loads of displays running off it and storage devices working off it ultra fast, which if you're video editing like Lee, you would need, because unfortunately the iMac you can only put in one hard drive. So you'd be using up 256 gigs of that SSD probably in about 2 femtoseconds.
Yes, but it is a major thing that myself and Sarah have to consider now. As I said, being professional photographers now, so I can't name a photographer, I know hundreds of them, that don't use Macs. So I think it's going to go down that line where I never said I'd go in having a Mac, but for actually what I want to do with an actual editing and photography, they're essential, and they are incredible bloody computers for doing what we need to do. And by the looks of it, this 5K, there's going to be a bit of a push as well for video editing, and that's quite impressive actually, what they've come up with.
Yeah,
it's very impressive.
Anything else, Dan?
So obviously they do have the Retina MacBook Pros as well. They go up to God knows how much money. Seriously, but so for example, if you're a photo editor on the road, I definitely wouldn't recommend video editing on these because they do usually only come with Intel Iris Pro or GeForce GT 750Ms. So they're not particularly good at video editing. However, if you are on the road and you want to do photo editing, these come out with a sort of just over 2K display, actually closer to 3K display for the 15-inch MacBook Pros with Retina displays. So really good for, obviously they got the IPS displays, all that sort of good stuff that Apple are known for.
Cool. There you go, guys. That was our little look into it. I will seriously be looking into what I have to do, basically. Business is getting busier and busier and busier, so I think it'll be going down that road at some point. Price-wise, it's going to be a bit of a pain, but
that's the only thing with Apple, isn't it?
Yeah, Apple stuff. That's the only thing I've ever had an argument with, is the fact that Apple's computers, it's just the expense of them because they're in alloy bodies, basically. If they were in plastic bodies, they'd be half the price.
Basically, with Apple, they're usually at the forefront of anything.
Yeah.
For example, this little dude. This is the first generation iPhone, which was made in 2007. This was massive screen size for a phone back in 2007. Now, 2014. Yes. So Apple
basically got a tablet.
So Apple normally the industry follows Apple. Yeah. So that if there's going to be a Retina display in there, all-in-ones or anything like that, in about 2 to 3 years, the PC industry will have products that good.
Yeah.
So when you buy an Apple product, you're buying something that is pretty much first to the market.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, guys, that was Tech Talk episode 3. Hope we enjoyed our little chat about video editing and picture editing and things we're going to have to look into now. Myself and Lee, I think. We're looking into things.
No, not really.
We'll give you a good rundown on this in our next Tech Talk.
Yeah,
we will. And give you a good. We'll get out and do some shooting with it, and I got an idea. I think I'll strap it on my car and jet wash my car with it and see what it comes up with.
Well, mind if you mounted the 3 onto the wheels and do that.
We can do that now. Yeah, see, we'll figure that out next episode. But thanks for joining us, Dan. And giving us your knowledge, mate. That was really helpful. And we'll see you on the next Tech Talk.
Yeah, until then.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.